What's up everyone, it's your boy, Kage Nate. Phase 2 of version 2.4 goes live on July 3rd, and with it brings Lupa, a 5-star fusion Broadblade resonator who provides a significant team-wide fusion buff while holding her own as a damage dealer. Let's walk through the basics of her kit. While this won't be a detailed kit overview, Lupa's damage cycle seems relatively straightforward. Every hit builds Wolflame. This goes up to a maximum of 100, but once the gauge is at 50, her heavy attack and mid-air strike consume 50 Wolflame. This grants 1 Wolfaith. Once you have 2 Wolfaith stacks, this unlocks the enhanced resonance skill, a big fusion burst that also refills the gauge so the loop can start again. Her resonance skill itself is a 2-part attack. The first deals fusion damage and marks the target. The second attack hits harder and causes the marked enemy to take extra damage. When you trigger the Resonance Liberation, the whole team gains 2 buffs. First, Glory lets everyone ignore fusion resistance, 3% by default, but this is increased up to 15% if the entire squad is fusion. Second, your team gains Pack Hunt. This adds 6% attack plus a 10% fusion damage bonus versus Overlord and Calamity class bosses. If you run a full fusion team, you gain an additional 10% to this, so a total of 20% fusion damage bonus versus bosses. Alright, so that's the basics of her kit. Wolflame cycling, Wolfaith nukes, and the liberation buffs that scale with more fusion units. We talked about her kit, now let's talk about some of her more meta teams. That way you can compare what characters you have and see how she could fit into your account. Lupa will primarily support fusion teams, and her outro skill synergizes perfectly with Brant, making him the most ideal teammate for her. On top of that, she'll pair well with Changli. This will be the premium fusion team. Should you not have one of these 3 units, feel free to swap in Shorekeeper, or another healer such as Verena. These substitutions work both for Brant and Changli, so feel free to swap them out. Additionally, you can use Encore as a main DPS, or even swap in Chishia. These all will work as a fusion team. Now let's dive in and see what the Echo sets we should be running on Lupa are. As of version 2.4, you can head over to the Mournfell Canyon Tacet Field and start collecting the Flaming Clawprint Echo set. This is Lupa's best in slot set. You'll want to run the Echo loadout of 4-3-3-1-1 on the Flaming Clawprint Echo set. This set increases fusion damage by 10%, and with the 5-piece bonus, casting Resonance Liberation grants all resonators on the team with a 15% fusion damage bonus, and the caster gains a 20% Resonance Liberation damage bonus. This lasts for 35 seconds. For your 4 cost, you'll want to run a crit rate piece. Unless your weapon is a crit rate weapon, then you can run a crit damage. On your 3 cost, you'll want to run a fusion damage piece. However, an attack piece can be just as good depending on substat rolls and overall fusion damage bonus. And for the 1 cost Echo, you'll want to run an attack percent piece. For substats, you want to focus on crit rate, crit damage, attack percent, resonance liberation bonus, and a few rolls of energy regen. Overall, Lupa is a support that wants to deal as much damage as possible, and she wants to provide fusion damage bonus to her entire team. Similar to her Echoes, Lupa's weapon choice will be to enable her overall damage output. Unsurprisingly, Wildfire Mark is going to be Lupa's best in slot weapon. This weapon not only increases Resonance Liberation damage, but it also provides a damage bonus to all resonators on the team. Lupa's best alternative is going to be the Verdant Summit, followed by Ages of Harvest, and then Lustrous Razor. These are the 3 5-star alternatives that are available to Lupa. Now, let's talk about the 4 stars. Autumn Trace is the best 4-star alternative available to Lupa, but if you don't have access to the Battle Pass, Helios Cleaver is a decent alternative. So we've talked about how to build and how to use Lupa, but now let's talk about how to level her up. We're going to get into Forte materials next. When it comes to the Forte materials, I actually want to give everybody a quick tip. So instead of coming to the Gardens of Adoration, even though you can get the correct materials, the monster drops are different. So what you should actually do is come all the way down here, back in the area of Huanlong, you can go to the Eroded Ruins. Here you can get the broadsword materials, but you can actually get the materials for Howler cores. Additionally, you can head over to the Beyond the Crimson Curtain to pick up the weekly challenge boss materials. These are the Netherworld Stair. Now this is going to be the total number of materials you'll need to max level all of her Forte. First, you'll need 25 green wave-worn residue. Then you'll need 28 blue wave-worn residue, 55 purple wave-worn residue, and 67 yellow wave-worn residue. Next, you'll need 25 LF howler cores, 28 MF howler cores, 40 HF howler cores, and 57 FF howler cores. Lastly, you'll need 26 of the Netherworld Stare and 2,030,000 shell credits. Again, this is to max level all of Lupa's Fortes. You don't need them all maxed, but if you're one of those people like me who will, this is what you're going to need to get. I'm going to take a quick pause here. If this breakdown's been useful in any way, hit the subscribe button. This is my very first YouTube video, and I'm lining up plenty of more guides just like this one, so stay tuned. Alright, so let's get back to what you came here for. The Forte materials were only half the story here. Let's talk about how to ascend Lupa, get all of her materials ready for day 1. And on top of that, I'm going to give everyone here a quick tip, just in case you don't know where to find one of the materials. Now, let's talk Ascension. So the first material you're going to need for Ascension is actually a boss material, and you can get that from the Lioness of Glory, which this just so happens to be one of the echoes that we need. So while farming this, you can get echo materials as well. So the first material you're going to need are 46 Unfading Glory. Then you'll need 170,000 shell credits. On top of that, you'll need 4 LF howler cores, 12 MF howler cores, 12 HF howler cores, and 4 FF howler cores. So for this next material, I want to teach everybody a trick. If you go to your bag and scroll all the way down to the Bloodleaf Vibranium,
Today, Junior?
We're just going to go with Bloodleaves. Anyways, if you make your way over to the Silver Helmet store, which is actually in Capitoline Hill in Septimont, you can go over to Danvers here, talk to them, ask them if you'd like to buy something, and then in their store, they have Bloodleaves available for purchase. They're only about 3,000 credits. Anyways, you make a purchase there. You can head out, go back into your backpack. So we're going to scroll over to the backpack here. Now we're going to scroll all the way down to the Bloodleaf area. And now you can click on the collection spots, and this will show all of their locations on your map. Now you can pick freely. Now don't worry, I got that number for you as well. You're only going to need 60 Bloodleaves, and then you're done. So now time for the real question. Should you pull in Lupa? And let's be honest, this is something that only you and your account can answer. But if you're looking for my advice, I would say she makes sense if you're looking for a fusion buffer, if you enjoy quick swap teams, if you want somebody to complement either Brant or Changli. Those are the scenarios that she makes sense. But outside of that, it's really up to you. She's not a need character, she's more of a luxury character. So if there's other characters that you need to save up for, or if you're interested in characters down the road, save for them. And with that, I want to thank everyone who made it to this point in the video. If you finish this video, let me know in the comment section down below. Are you planning on pulling Lupa, or are you saving up for somebody else? Also, leave a like and subscribe. Peace.